I was with two other sisters, and we flew into Nicaragua at night. So we got there, and then we went and we stayed at the house of in our mission we have sister assistants to the president as well, or we did at that time as well as elders. And so we slept at their house that night. And I remember the very first night when we got there, and we got off the plane, and we went to get our luggage, and this man came up to me. He looked like he was a worker or something. He just kind of grabbed my bags and started walking away with them as if he was trying to help, and I was just like, wait, what's happening? Where's he taking my bags? And then the sisters with me, they're like, I don't know what he's doing. One was like, he's going to make you pay for that. I'm like, wait, what? Like, pay to carry my bags? I don't want him to. I'll take my bags. And then, but it ended up being okay. He just took my bags out the door to our mission president was waiting, and you know, my mission president, when I got there, he was from Costa Rica, and so he spoke a little bit of English, and he was learning English, but he just really spoke Spanish. So we all just like hi, and hug or a handshake, and you know, and then, but we did have there was a nurse, a mission nurse, and her husband he took all the pictures and stuff, so they were there and they spoke English, and so they were waiting for us, and they all took us out we went to Pizza Hut. That was the first thing we did down there, and all of us were like, wait, there's Pizza Hut in Nicaragua? All of us in our heads were kind of thinking it was like Africa. For some reason, like there wasn't like American things at all. It was just like this village or this forest. But it's pretty, you know, it has streets, roads, buildings, businesses. It's pretty, you know, it has its own economy, and as we were driving to Pizza Hut, we were in the back of their car, and we were watching like the way people drove on the roads, and it was just very chaotic, and it was really interesting. It's very aggressive driving, you know, not defensive driving, it's aggressive driving, and it's funny how people, you know, cross the street. Like here, if you just cross the street wherever that's jaywalking, but down there, that's just how you cross the street, and so there would people be standing like in the middle of the road waiting for cars to pass, then to continue crossing, and all of us were just looking at each other scared out of our minds, like, oh my gosh, that person is going to die. What are they doing? Why are they crossing the street like that? But it was super interesting, and the second we stepped out of the airport, actually, it was just like this wave of humidity, this wet heat just hit us right in the face. We're like, oh wow, okay, this is a very different climate than what we're used to. And then the next day I met my trainer, and she was from Guatemala, and that was really interesting because the other two sisters who were with me, they got American training companions. They could speak English with them, and I couldn't speak English with my companion, and she was very patient with me, because knowing that we could only communicate in Spanish and my Spanish abilities were very limited. The first day was really hard though, because as, you know, a native Spanish speaker, she didn't understand how, like, the difficulty of learning that new language, and so it was just, you know, we would be in lessons. I'm like, I have no idea what they're saying, what the natives were saying, but I could pick out a few words what my companion was saying. And so when she would finish talking, I would base off what she had just said and just say anything I could think of in the very limited Spanish I had. And it was, a lot of the members were like, oh wow, your Spanish is really good for only being here a day. And I'm like, thank you. I don't understand what's happening. But the good thing was that as the weeks progressed, because me and my companion, we didn't really talk very much outside of lessons because we couldn't really. It was only what we had to say to each other. And so as the weeks progressed, I could see myself, or I could, you know, make more conversation with her. And that was the way that I was able to gauge how well I was learning Spanish. And it was really cool to be able to, like, a week or two after I'd been in the field, and was able to have a small conversation, like, kind of without too much difficulty, and that was just the best feeling of, wow, I'm actually getting this. And so in a lot of ways it was really, really hard having a native Spanish-speaking companion, but it also forced me to use Spanish even more. And most of my companions in the field were native Spanish speakers, which helped me a lot to really speak Spanish all the time. And I know the other sisters I came with, they were, you know, they were with a lot of American companions, and and their Spanish didn't come as quickly to them, and they said they learned later like how important it is to speak Spanish all the time that you can. So.